Okay, welcome back. This is part two of lesson 3.3. So the question that we have here is which will you use to find the equation? So again, we have three. We have slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. We have point-slope form, y minus y sub 1 equals m times the expression of x minus x sub 1, and then standard form, a of x plus b of y equals c. So let's look at some graph examples and figure out like which would be the best to use. As I look at these, if I look at my first line, I can see that I don't know. I can see where it crosses the x-axis, but I can't see where it touches the y-axis. So the slope-intercept form is not going to be a good form to use, but I do have one point here, 4 and -5. So that means that I would want to use point slope as my method of trying to solve any further problems. And then over here, again, I've got a couple of points. Again, I don't see anything specifically on the x or y axis. So again, I'm going to go with point slope. And you can see these numbers would fit quite nicely into that point slope equation. I could put x and y values in there. I could do it when I have two coordinates. I could even do it when I have one coordinate. If I have that one coordinate, I could still solve for part of that equation and get it into slope-intercept form. Now we get to this third one. Now we have 0, 6. That's a y-intercept. It's on the y-axis. And then I have 6, 0. That's an x-intercept. That is on the x-axis. So that means the slope-intercept equation would work best. It would be of value to us here. Okay. So now let's do some practical examples here. So we have, again, our three choices: slope-intercept form, point-slope form, or standard form. All right, so example number one says Jane spent $3 every 2 days. Okay, and after 4 days, she had $24. So let's look at what we know here. Well, one, we actually know the slope, and that is that she spent $3 every 2 days. Rise over run. So -3/2. Okay, that's the rate of her spending. She spends $3, and the reason why it's negative is because she's spending, so she's losing money every 2 days. $3 every 2 days. And then after 4 days, she had $24. That is a coordinate. 4 days, she's got $24. Okay, that's a point somewhere on that line. So we want to use point slope to solve this problem because we have a point somewhere on here. We don't know where it crosses the axes, so we want to use this information. So what do we know then? Well, we know that y minus this value, 24, see, that's the y sub 1, is going to be equal to, again, it's supposed to be m. Well, we know m, -3/2, times x minus x sub 1, that's going to be 4. And now we can solve for this equation. So if we go through that, we're going to have y minus 24 is equal to -3/2 x plus 6. Because if I multiply -4 by -3/2, I get 6. And then I can simply rearrange this equation. I can take 24, I can add it to both sides, and I get a slope-intercept equation, which is equal to y is equal to -3/2 x plus 30. Okay, I was able to find that. Now we've got another example. Jan started with $10, and after 20 days, she had no money left. So let's talk about what that means. She starts with $10. Well, what does that mean? Well, that is a value on the y-axis because we've determined that money is a y value. So that is actually the y-intercept. B is equal to $10. Okay. We also know that after 20 days, she had no money left. So after 20 days, she had $0. That's a point. Okay. That's a coordinate. 20 days, $0. Okay. So what would be best here? Slope-intercept. Slope-intercept would be a good way to go here. And we know that y is going to equal mx plus 10 because we know 10 is b. And now what can we do? Well, we can put 0 in for y. We can put 20 in for x. So we have 0 is equal to m times 20 plus 10. And when we go through this, we would discover that m is equal to -1/2. And then we can feed that right back into our original equation. And so we know that y equals -1/2 x plus 10. And that's our final slope-intercept equation. Okay, let's look at this example down here. It says Jane had $24 after 4 days. On day 12, she had $18. Well, again, those are coordinates, right? Day 4, she had $24. What else are we told? On day 12, she had $18. Okay, that's another coordinate. So what's our best route here? Point slope, because we've got 2 points on the line. So now we can actually put those in and find a slope. So m is going to equal, we can take 18 minus 24 over 12 minus 4. So we're solving the slope because we know 2 points on the line, so we can find the slope here. And that's going to equal -6 over 8, which is the same thing. If we reduce that down, it's -3/4. And so now we can put that in. Y equals -3/4 x plus b. Well, we want to find b. All we have to do is take one of our sets of coordinates and plug those values in. I'm going to use the 12 and 18. So I'm going to put in 18 for y equal to -3/4 times x, which is 12, plus b. And if I go through, I would solve, I would find that b is equal to 27. So that means y equals -3/4 x plus 27. Okay. All right. I want you to try the next one on your own and pause the video right now. All right, you should be unpausing the video now after you've done this problem. So now I'm going to try another one. Jane started with $30 and spent $3 every 2 days. So if she started with $30, that's a slope. I'm sorry, y-intercept, not a slope. It's a y-intercept. So y-intercept is b. The slope, though, she spent $3 every 2 days. We saw this before in one of the other examples. That's our slope, -3/2. And so what would be the best way to express this? It would be in slope-intercept form because we already have all the details we need. Y equals -3/2 x plus 30. Okay? Very simple to write it in that format.